For some reason, no one is talking about this, but Blizzard just gave us the full view of the mysterious crystal Beledar from Hallowfall in the new book. Essentially, we can see what it looks like from every possible angle. It's definitely not a sword, it isn't a transdimensional ship, and it doesn't seem like there is a Naru there. The upper part isn't the same as the bottom one, but it does seem to be engineered to pierce the ground from all possible angles. Are we really looking at the primordial crystals from the creation of the universe that created all life on Azeroth, the Naru, and potentially the warlords? Are we looking at a projectile shot by the Naru in some ancient forgotten war, or could this be what remained from a Naru ship in some ancient invasion of Azeroth? If you guys want to buy Total War, Elder Scrolls, or any other game, you can get them at great prices with my Gamivo link. You can also get anything Warcraft related, gift cards and software, and all below market prices. Best of all, if you add my code DORON, you can get an even bigger discount, so make sure to check out my link in the description and get some amazing deals with Gamivo. The gigantic light crystal in Hallowfall has been one of the main plot lines of the War Within, but also the start of the World Soul Saga. It's not only unique because it functions as the sun and it's making a holy underground zone appear like it is above ground, but because it is so obvious that this is much more than just a simple crystal, much more than just a light source. Initially, when this was announced, everyone thought this was the tip of Sargeras' sword seen under the ground, but then there was debunked pretty much the next day. Then we learned the name, we got a ton of lore from the actual beta, from all the dialogues and the quests, but now that the expansion is coming out, we had actually seen the full crystal from the collector's edition book. At first, we had wondered what exactly this thing was. Could it be like 10% of the whole object because we're only seeing a part of it? Is like this the upper part of a ship? Is it a creature? Is this like a tentacle of the Naru? But also, completely out of nowhere, Blizzard literally just laid it all out. I mean, they revealed the bottom and the upper part as well as the top-down views, which are incredibly interesting when you really examine it. So the most prominent theory was that the crystal Beledar was a Naru ship, but based on this new information, that is highly unlikely now, and I think the other theory that I'll cover in a bit makes a lot more sense with these updated images. What was incredibly interesting until now was the name itself, Beledar. It really did sound like how you would name a transdimensional ship. Remember, Exodar, Zenedar, Genedar. Even more interestingly, the crystal was named by the Arati Empire guys that are half-elves from Qualtalas, and in the Elven language, the sun is called Belore. You may remember Anu Belore Delana, which means the eternal sun guides us. So Beledar really sounds like a mix between Belore, the sun, and a Naru ship name. Looking at the Elven language, we can't really decipher in detail what it fully means. There is a place in Eversong called Lake Elrendar, which is referring to the water. There is a gigantic sea in Hallowfall, so that could be the sun above the lake, but I do think this is highly unlikely. The most interesting thing is that we had now seen, as I said, a full crystal, and I really didn't expect Blizzard would reveal it so early. Honestly, I thought this was going to be much more of a mystery. As you can see, the upper part that we're not able to see from Hallowfall is actually not that different from the visible part, but it's actually not an identical copy when you examine it in detail. First of all, you can see that the tip is different, as in the bottom part, the tip is bigger and more narrow, as it appears like it's supposed to pierce through something. Furthermore, the top and the bottom part view are different. It seems like it's more robust at the bottom part. As I said, it's supposed to pierce from the side. However, interestingly enough, it is also sharp on the sides as well, and also on the top. And when you think about it, if Beledar fell from the sky onto whatever side it did, it would pierce the ground. It would obviously be the most effective from the bottom part because that's the most robust one. It will get the most depth, but I think this could potentially be a huge hint. So the real question is, if it isn't a Naru ship, then what exactly is it? First of all, let us observe the Naru ships that we have from the past. The lore states that the Naru are the ones creating them, and we have seen small transdimensional ships, but we have also seen gigantic ones called transdimensional fortresses. One of these fortresses is a place called Oshagun that crashed on Draenor that has so many parallels to Beledar right now. However, if you also observe the Naru fortress like Tempest Keep and just disregard the fact that the graphics here are from like 2006, you can see that the ships are really just attached to the crystals that look very similar to this. I mean, sure, the Tempest Keep crystal seems to be shaped and a bit more natural, but it looks like you have attached machinery just to a simple gigantic crystal. However, we can't exactly see any machinery here, which at the moment leaves us with two interesting scenarios. It's either a primordial crystal that shaped Azeroth in ancient history, or it was a Naru ship and the ship portion just ejected from the crystal in the past and somehow disappeared. We have a little bit more beta information that adds more context to this. You can definitely see this by now. It's the very likely 5th Old God mural found in the lowest layer of Ashgahet. By the way, Chronicle that just came out, the Chronicle Volume 4, also stated that 5 old gods exist, so we know another one exists. We still haven't gotten the context on what this mural is, whether it is a look into the past or into the future, but the most likely scenario is that it is a look into the ancient past when the Black Empire ruled over Azeroth, because the Nerubians are one of the original races. They were in fact one of the main races, and since then they have been essentially just hiding for thousands of years, so it would make sense that they would create murals of their glorious past. Now, the focal point here is not the 5th Old God, I got a bunch of videos on that, but the crystal that can be seen on the right side. The crystal is a void one, but it is very similarly shaped, and it is also giving rays of the sun, which strongly signals that this is Beledar in question, because Beledar functions as the sun. So here we got two very interesting things to look at. It would mean that in the ancient past, the crystal was converted into the void, it wasn't a light crystal, and the other one is that if this is the same crystal and this is an image from the Black Empire, it must be beyond ancient. Like, this crystal has been here on Azeroth for a really long time. Now that brings us to really the most plausible theory right now, and that is that we're looking at one of the primordial crystals of the creation of the universe. Remember, it was said that when the universe was born, giant shards of light were flung across the universe and they hit planets, seeding life. From some of these crystals, the Naru arose as well. Now, if these crystals were used to create life, I'm pretty sure they can also be used and converted by the Void and can be used by the Void. Remember that really intriguing Zelda quote from a few years back? She said that the Naru are their long-lost brethren and that soon they will find their way back into the Void. If the Naru were created from crystals like these, how exactly are they brothers to the Void Lords? Were the Void Lords also made from these types of crystals? Seeing that the Naru are able to shift into Void Gods and we're seeing this crystal turn into the Void right now, I do think there is something going on. I do think it is definitely possible. From the beta, we now know that Demencius the Void Lord is behind Xal'atath. However, we also learned from the Chronicle that another Void Lord named Invalidus was behind the gigantic crystal Oshogun, which was in fact a crashed Naru ship, a Naru fortress, and also it was part crystal. So you gotta see there is definitely something that is drawing the Void Lords to these crystals that are used by the Naru, and there is without a doubt an inherent connection between these two cosmological forces. Now, personally, I would have expected that if this really was the primordial crystal, that it would look a bit more pure, like a natural glowing crystal that you would find in nature. This one seems like it was engineered or shaped by someone. However, it's really just impossible to speculate at this point. I mean, just focus on the little runes and the shapes from the book. You can almost make out a Naru from this. So, as we can see from the book, there's definitely not a ship on the upper part. In fact, the upper part is very similar to the bottom portion, and it doesn't seem like there is a gateway or any place to enter the crystal. It could be one of the life-creating crystals from the creation of the cosmos. It could have been a ship in the past where the ship machinery was removed and ejected, or it could have also been the site of some sort of a light invasion, and this crystal was like a projectile that was shot by the Naru and just pierced into Azeroth. It's possible that just how the Titans had attacked the Black Empire in the ancient past, that the Naru might have also attempted a similar process to try to cleanse Azeroth and they failed, and this is what remains of that forgotten war. Thank you for watching. Check out my video on the awakened void monster that is coming for us by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on ancient training from my second channel by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.